started off as a resident assistant in college and then went on to be an assistant residence director at Syracuse University. I really liked what I did as a resident assistant, helping people, helping to manage the building, those kind of things, doing the events. I was a theater major, so it was either go to New York City, go to a big city where I could do that, or I can use my skills somewhere else that I learned as a resident assistant. And I decided to go that way, and so the next step for me was to either be a residence director or an assistant residence director. I started off at Fort John, New York, which is 10th Mountain Division, and they're light infantry, and they're heavily deployed. So we always had a brigade that was deployed. So dealing with the families during deployment, trying to come up with programming specific to families who are deployed and dealing with that, dealing with some of the after effects of deployment, dealing with some of the unfortunate casualties that occur during deployment. I think those are probably the biggest differences between student housing and military housing. I think my favorite part of what I do is seeing how it affects the residents positively. I think I love, usually when we do events, I will be the one behind the camera because I love doing photography. And so just being able to kind of observe how what we do really does make a difference, especially when we know that there's a deployment or there's a stressful time going on with a family. If we can do an event that makes them forget about that and let them have fun for a little while, I think that's the best part of what we do. Starting in student housing really helped me see how education is very important and taking a more educational standpoint on staff development and developing them as a whole person and trying to look at their strengths and weaknesses, how they specifically learn how to do a task, and trying to make them the best person that they can be, because when they're the best person they can be, the property runs smoothly and they're happier in their job and in their position, because I think they feel like what they're doing makes a difference with their residents. So being able to use your specific talent, there's so many different things you can do with that. There is that marketing aspect. There is accounting, if you're a good accountant. There's so many different types of housing too. There's the student housing and the military. So there's all kinds of different aspects that you can get into. So if one doesn't necessarily fit what you're interested in and what you like, there's different things that you can try to get into. And it's a career that you can go almost anywhere. You can go anywhere in the world. There's always a need for apartments.